Lucy Baird, a New York-based interior designer who made the boldest move a creative can. She walked out.
No one really knows what they're doing, and that's also a lesson. Like practicing delusion, like a really healthy level of delusion is what it takes, I think, to become like a successful business person. It really does.
What's something about the interior design world that looks glamorous from the outside, but is absolutely brutal?
There are just a lot of characters that you're trying to keep happy and that are relying on you to keep things kind of organized and moving along.
What's one thing you still struggle with?
Kind of the business side of it and knowing my worth and what to charge in this kind of changing world of design. So hourly fees, design fees, flat fees, understanding the business part of it has been the most challenging. I creative part of it become much more natural to me. But what I'd say, I'm a businesswoman. That part still doesn't feel real. That's kind of my biggest challenge is having an operating, functional, profitable business.
I hear you, by the way. First time founder, though, is not about the business, who you... Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today's guest, I should say, is Lucy Baird, a New York-based interior designer who made the boldest move a creative can. She walked out. She left a toxic job, a steady salary, and the kind of career path that looks great on paper, but felt completely wrong inside. No business partner, no investors, just her sketch pad and a vision. And let's be clear, life on the other side hasn't all been L-shaped sofas and oak flat whites. She's had to fight for her clients, justify her value, and build a business in an industry that often cares more about what you know than what you create. But 18 months later, Lucy runs her own studio and has already been featured in Architectural Digest. Massive. This isn't a story about aesthetics. It's about what really takes to design your own life from the ground up. So if you've ever wanted to start somewhere on your own, this conversation will move more than just your mood board. Lucy Baird, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're very, very excited.
Lovely to have a chat.
Interior design.
Yes.
So many questions, but being founders with Nick, we're always really curious as to how the founder quit their job.
Okay.
And started their own shop. So just take me back to the moment you told your parents you were quitting, and what did you say, and what did they say back? It's always quite scary.
It was a slow burn for sure. It had always. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the finish line. So I would say about 2 years before I actually quit, I just knew that I wanted to go on my own and I wanted to do it ASAP. It took a little bit of time to get there, but I started my LLC. So I opened a business entity far before I actually quit my job. I would say 2 or 3 years before. I had begun to help out friends and family and begun to work with vendors and establish my own relationships. And to do that, I needed to open an LLC. So I had been working on it very slowly. And then it got to a point where I had enough work from friends and family, side work, that I thought, wow, I could really give this a go. But, there was a lot of apprehension from, those around me, very supportive. But again, leaving a steady job in New York and, it was really scary. I'll never forget the moment that I actually quit.
Well, tell us about it.
It was time. I had a lot of upcoming projects, so I knew that I could pay rent and pay my bills. And it got down to the last moment on a Friday, and I had typed down an email, and I probably should have been a phone call, but it was fine. It was an email, and I had it all typed out, and I had to be on the phone with my mom and say, can I press send? Can I press send? And she's like, press send. So I pressed send, and then I was like, I did it. So it was kind of, it was dramatic, but my mom was there for me for the moment. But it's really scary. I think it's indicative of I took that leap. I was like, I just quit my job. It's just me. I'm going to actually do this. And kind of, again, years of preparing, of dreaming, of working toward that goal. So it was a big moment. I'll never forget it.
I mean, I can see the laughs of the love in your face from that. It's like you remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, I really do. No, truly. So,
what did your boss say? I always fascinated by hearing how the other side reacts.
Yeah, I didn't hear from her. So it was a Friday afternoon, and I didn't hear from her until that Monday.
Okay,
which was fair. I think she gave herself the space, and she was very civil about it. I don't think she was terribly happy about it.
Mm.
But she detached herself and, you know, it was fine. It was kind of an awkward 2 weeks that you had to sit there and tie up all your loose ends. But, well, I mean, what was she going to say? You know, I think she was fine, but not happy.
Not happy.
No. Surprised, too, which...
It's always a red flag, that, yeah.
Yeah, she was
What do you
surprised.
mean? I thought you loved it here.
Yeah. She was
No.
like, and also a little bit of like, you think you can do this?
Oh.
A little bit of that, which, you know, is that's
fuel.
just fuel.
Fuel,
for
isn't
the
it?
dream, yeah.
Fuel. I love that. Do you think if she was a better boss, you would have stayed?
Yes. I wasn't getting any mentorship. So that value add to the role wasn't there. I think if I had a boss that I really loved and who was talking to me about the future and kind of interior design, maybe I would inherit some of their book or their projects, or they would have smaller scale things that they would love, you know, for me to have and to watch me grow and help. There was none of that. So I thought, what am I doing here?
Anybody listening that is in that space now and that isn't getting that, what would you say?
I would say that, you know, again, I would have stayed. It's if you're feeling like you're not getting any kind of assistance or mentorship, and you might as well be doing it on your own, then you're completely justified in that feeling. I think having a mentor is incredibly helpful, and I found it in other people who were not in interior design, but who were successful business people who had started their own businesses and who wanted to help. So I kind of went elsewhere when I decided to make the leap, if that makes any sense.
Makes a lot. How does somebody
use your network?
How does somebody get into that though? Let's say somebody's just gone to New York. They're in the Big Apple, the Bright City Lights. They've moved there. They moved from maybe the UK, or they moved, from a different state, and it wasn't quite what it said on the flyer when they got there. How do you, as a young lady, get out there and network? I mean, what would you do?
It's all about who you know. So it's really taking advantage of everything that especially New York has to offer. It's friends, it's going to different community events, different industry events. It's really like throwing everything you have at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I found that even a wide network, not so specific, not so niche, but people want to help, is what I've really found on this journey of being an entrepreneur. That there are so many people that share these feelings, who've experienced it or who want to, and who genuinely, believe in you. I was surprised about that, I think, on this journey the most, is how much people are willing to help and want to see me succeed.
Final thing on your old boss. If she could hear this conversation, what would you want them to take from it?
That she shouldn't be so surprised that, her team became smaller and smaller until it was almost non-existent. And I think you're only as good as the people who work for you. I mean, when you're especially in this business that I work in, it's always crazy to me that she was wondering why her business was dwindling and that her team was, deserting her. It was a point for her to really self-reflect, and she didn't take that opportunity. And it's not fulfilling. I would think that wanting to mentor a designer and share success, would be exciting, but it wasn't to her. So I think I think it's the proof is in the pudding.
So exciting day.
Yes.
You quit Friday. Do you 2 weeks? Mom and dad are happy?
They are
listening now.
Undeniably, they're undeniably supportive. I think my mother, from the very beginning, my father, is a finance business career guy, and as a single woman in New York, I think he was just like, you have bills to pay, and having a steady job and having health insurance are all very, very, very good things, and I believe in you, but let's perhaps stay the course for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But now he's my biggest proponent, biggest supporter, tells everyone about me. I call him my publicist.
Oh, that's very
my
sweet.
Chief Operating Officer. He's chairman of the board. He is my biggest fan and so proud of me. So it's kind of fun.
That's
how
lovely.
That works. Yeah.
What's his name?
Bruce.
Come on, Bruce. How's she doing? First podcast, Bruce. First podcast.
I made it, Dad.
I made it. Okay, interior design. So interior design is often seen as a luxury. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Do people misunderstand what actually you do?
Yeah, quite a bit. I think also the world of interior design is flattening a little bit. So there's kind of the old school, I would say like higher end design where someone's paying someone like me to oversee and to help assist in kind of architectural design and oversight for all aspects of a project or a renovation. So that's a very like broad, large scale kind of project, but it's beginning to flatten a little bit. So I think there is space in the market for people like me. And I've like my kind of sweet spot right now are dinks, dual income, no kids is what we like to call them. So these people have moved into their first apartment in New York. They bought it. They have money. They don't have kids. But they're like, this is nice, but where do we begin? How do we, make this place feel like home? Like, how do we scale a living room, or what do we invest in, or what paint colors do we choose? So I've kind of like found this sweet spot. So I do think that interior design is changing a little bit. It's becoming more accessible, and it's kind of an interesting place to be. But there's, I think, a lot more opportunity than just this super high end, paying someone to design a full entire home.
Okay. What's something that about the interior design world that looks glamorous from the outside, but is absolutely brutal behind the scenes?
99% of it? No. It's really a lot of project management, and it's a lot of people management. So you're managing clients, you're working with contractors, you're working with vendors, you're working with tradespeople. There are just a lot of characters kind of in the play that you're trying to keep happy and that are relying on you to keep things kind of organized and moving along. So it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of project management.
Okay. And what's the hardest thing about it? What's one thing you say to me, do you know, Nick, actually, I'm really great at sourcing stuff. I'm terrible at maybe, I don't know, doing that, or what's like something you still struggle with?
I'm still struggling. I mean, to be honest, kind of the business side of it and knowing my worth and what to charge in this kind of changing world of design. So being accessible enough, weighing hourly fees, design fees, flat fees, working on kind of scopes and understanding the business part of it has been the most challenging. I can do the day-to-day. I think my corporate experience was not wasted in terms of being able to coordinate and just, all the email etiquette and even just working with people from all kinds. So I will say I did appreciate my kind of more standard corporate experience. But understanding the business side, I feel like I'm a creative. And I finally can say that I don't have imposter syndrome about that anymore. But what I do is like waking up and I'll just look in the mirror and say, I'm a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. That part still doesn't feel real. And that is like that's kind of my biggest challenge, is having an operating, functional, profitable business.
Why do you think that's still not resonating with you, even 18 months in?
I think I just feel as though the creative part of it is so much more natural to me. And I think the fear, what was keeping me from, leaving my job sooner, doing this sooner, was not feeling as though I had all the skills, or that I had, been to business school and that I had the right understanding of profitability. I think that was where I thought my weakness was. And so that it still feels strange when I'm, working with my tax accountant, or I'm in kind of the deep of the finances, and I'm still allowing myself to be comfortable there and feeling like I kind of I deserve to be there. If that makes any sense.
Of course you deserve to be there.
Yeah, but it's, there's so many things that goes into running a business, and especially, as a creative, I'm like, the creative stuff's easy. It's like it's the back end stuff.
I hear you, by the way. I'm running one now. I am naturally good at like the front end. I'm diabolical at the back end. People say to me, Nick, how are we doing that? I said, I don't really know. Do you know? It's not great. Pretty sure, does anybody know here? But no, I think you sort of, I've said this before on the show. The first time founder, though, is not about the business; it's who you become.
100%.
It's who you become. I know that sounds a bit podcasty,
No,
but it's who you become.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think no one really knows what they're doing, and that's also a lesson I've learned.
Tick.
And just like practicing delusion, like a really healthy level of delusion, is what it takes, I think, to become like a successful leader and a successful business person. It really does. Like, yeah.
No, I totally agree. Something's fascinating me. I mean, how do you charge for something? Do you walk into a room and you go, right, they just want a bathroom to be done, I'll charge them $5,000 US? Or do you look, is it per room? Is it like the location? Is it square footage? And then, was it a commission? How does it work?
Yeah, so previously it's been commission-based, but that is just I feel like the client of today doesn't want to pay additional costs for something that they could purchase themselves on the internet, which is how it used to be that you couldn't. You needed me to get the access, and therefore that's why you were paying the 30% commission. But now what I've been doing is I've been meeting with a client, looking at the space, and understanding their budget, and essentially taking their budget and charging a percentage of that as my design fee on top. So the commission part, I'm taking, if they want to spend $100,000 on furnishings, then I'm saying, okay, my fee is 30% of that, which is what would be the commission if I was charging per item.
Okay.
And then it kind of works, the procurement part, I'll coordinate with vendors, and there are different payment terms, whether the client themselves are buying things or I am, but it's no longer commission-based for me. I find that doesn't resonate. The consumer is too smart and has too much access to want to pay a premium for the actual good. They want to pay for my eye, for my design, for my project management, but they don't want to pay more for the actual piece of furniture.
Well, then this dovetails very nicely. How would you describe your style to someone that's never seen your work?
Oh, okay. That's a very good question. I get this all the time. I would say kind of like quirky classic. Like I love old things and I love new things. That pertains to furniture, that pertains to architecture, that pertains to art. And I think the beauty in being able to kind of layer that together adds soul and kind of differentiates me from kind of other designers. I feel like I love combining things that it's not a certain lane or avenue that I stick to. I'm attracted to kind of all sorts of things, and it's the brilliance is putting them together and having them look good and having them, of course, be functional. And there's a lot of like unsexy things, but having them be at scale, having things be at the right height, that sort of thing, of course. But like quirky classic is kind of where I land.
Well, Lisa, I want to press you on that. What are some of the details? So what is something you're hot right now, you're loving? What's something you think, actually, that's a total waste of time? Give me some real nitty gritty interior design details.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love this. I mean, there are so many trendy things, but I love white walls because I feel white walls is, we could put art, and I think that I'm very art forward in my design. I think starting to invest in art doesn't have to be expensive, but going to flea markets, going to antique shops, going on Etsy. There's so many talented people there that are starting their own businesses that I love to support. So I love white walls because I'm very art forward, and then it's art for me. That's kind of number one, and it's very accessible. It doesn't have to be expensive, but kind of building like what you're attracted to art wise, I find is a good place to start for clients, and they really have fun with it because it's more than just the sofa or I don't know, dining room chairs. It then it kind of echoes what's going to happen, and I find that people get very excited about picking out art. What do I hate? I mean, anything trendy. You go on Pinterest and I say I love white walls, but everything's neutral. Everything looks the same. I'm like, oh, let's like have some personality. Let's have some soul. Let's find something weird and stick it with the classic white sofa. Let's find a cool side table from, I don't know, somewhere that's a weird material. I also think that there's this return to antiques, which is really interesting, which is kind of marrying this like focus on sustainability elsewhere, which antiques were like not sexy for a really long time. But I feel like people are loving old things again, which I think is fun because it makes that like not every living room is going to look the same, which
Very
is kind
true.
of what I'm after. I'm like, why do everyone look the same? So I guess what I'm into right now, art always, and old things, really beautiful old things.
Really beautiful things. What is in your opinion? What does every room need?
Oh, art.
Just art. Just a simple. It could be a painting. Could be a sculpture.
Yeah.
Anything of that nature.
Anything.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I'd start.
That's the way to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're really enjoying listening to this founder, give us a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I hope you got some golden nuggets from our founder, and I'll let you get back to the show. Okay, just pivoting slightly.
Okay.
What belief about yourself do you still wrestle with today, even after all your success in 18 months?
Yeah, we were talking about that before. I finally feel as though I'm a real designer. I think having the Architectural Digest piece and having my own business, and I have work after 18 months and more work, and it's building and growing, and I feel that. The reception and validation just kind of from the outside, of course, that helps. I've always known that I always know that I could do this, that I love being creative, and this is what I'm supposed to have this output of like beautiful things, and that's what people respond to, and I just feel like that's what I can offer the world. What I struggle with is just feeling like that I can run a business. It's really I've always struggled with math. It wasn't my thing. So getting numbers but it's just becoming more comfortable. And also what I would tell people, my biggest takeaway from this is that you don't need to know everything before you start. I mean, I didn't know how to, file taxes for a business, but I hired someone and I figured that out. That's done. Like I wasn't giving myself permission because I didn't feel like I knew enough about the numbers, and I'm still uncomfortable in the numbers, but I'm learning, and I have a team that can support me, and it's just like part of the journey. So I'm hoping, a year from now I come back and I'm like, I'm a businesswoman, like it won't feel like imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
as much.
I still have that, by the way.
Right?
Yeah,
everyone
even
does.
doing the podcast. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think
weird,
it's
isn't it?
just until it's not. You're just gonna feel like, I don't know, am I allowed to be here? And like every morning I have to wake up and I have to tell myself that I am.
That was quite taxing.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was quite taxing on you.
Yeah, it's hard and it's scary, and I've never worked more. And I think I want to prove it to myself that I can, grow a sustainable business. And again, it's kind of like, as an interior designer, it's my name, it's my aesthetic. I really have to grow my own personal brand because that's what people are buying at the end of the day. And that's been the fun part, is like building that. I have a Substack that I write. I love, again, I had that little blog in college that brought me so much joy. So I always try to tap into that. But yeah, I think that, just feeling like I can do the finance stuff is like still something that I work on.
As a solo female founder,
yes.
Have you ever walked into a client meeting and felt underestimated even before you spoke?
Yeah, I think I used to quite a bit. And it took like a few successful projects. Now, I used to be nervous going into meetings with clients or even contractors. It's a very, very male-dominated industry, especially when you get into renovation projects. But I feel like now I have enough under my belt, and I'm confident enough in those skills that I don't, but I used to quite a bit.
So just tell us on that. So the female designer now in New York is actually, I'm listening to this, and Lucy, I'm 3 months in, I'm walking into these meetings, and these guys and people are looking at me and thinking, you're nothing. How did you navigate that?
I knew that I knew that I was smart enough. I knew that I at least creatively could be there, and that, I had these project management skills. And I also, I don't think if people are going to underestimate you, that's fine. But I think paying it forward and being kind and being open and being communicative people have a lot of respect for that. So I found that when I've put out honestly, as like podcasty sounds, good energy.
Mm.
And I've invested in kind of the relationships that the trust has grown quickly. I've just had to kind of look, I could sit and, be upset that these men have underestimated me, but like, what is that going to accomplish? I'm like, let's just get to work, boys. Like,
Yeah, I love it.
What do you need from me? I'm going to get it to you. And then I get it to them, and they're suddenly the trust is there. And yeah, I guess I haven't doubted that. So it hasn't bothered me as much when I'm walking into a room. I guess it used to more, but it's amazing how quickly that changes when you just start doing it, and you have to do it, and the confidence grows quickly. So yeah, it's hard being a female, though. It really is.
Yeah. What other things are really difficult about it?
I mean, I guess just like people just underestimate. I think people don't. I mean, maybe it's just me feeling like I'm not a businesswoman, but I think they're like, oh, that's cute. You do interior design. That's so cute. Like, oh, that's so fun. But, I'm like, no, there's money there, and I'm making money, and I'm supporting myself, and it's not cute. It's, art, and it's like a creative industry. So, yeah. I don't know. I think I struggle with that. The like, oh, that, wow,
bit patronizing.
How fun, yeah. Like
it's a jolly,
yeah. Like
Sims builder,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's where actually I think my love of interior design
really
did come from. Yeah, but I would just build the houses, forget the little things.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the early thousands, I mean, like it was probably an addiction to that game.
There you go.
But that's what my first experience building.
There we go. What would 10-year-old Lucy think if she saw what you're doing now?
She would think I was so cool. Oh. She would be so happy. But I really, when I decided that I wanted to quit my corporate job in beauty, it was like, where do I want to be in 10 years? And then I reverse engineered that. And I'm so happy I did. I felt like I was in my mid-20s and I was so late that I was starting, which was beyond crazy. But it was really reverse engineering. It was like taking a good long look in the mirror and saying, what do I want to be doing 10 years from now? And what I wanted to be doing was to be doing something creative and to be working for myself. And so I was like, well, I got to start this now. And I think that's incentive enough. At least it was incentive enough for me. And Rome was not built in a day. It is so hard. There's a lot of, doubt and anxiety that goes with kind of taking a chance on yourself. But I just knew what the goal was. And so I'm still working toward it, but I'm so close. So 10-year-old Lucy would love it. She would wish that magazines were still a thing, but
bring back the mag.
This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool second option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she'd be really excited.
That's lovely to hear. I love asking that.
Yeah.
You mentioned it was lonely. What's is there any point where you've just looked in the mirror and thought, oh, this is fucking tough now?
Yeah.
Have you just thought, you know what? I've done a few houses.
Yeah.
I've made 30K, I might just call it a day.
Totally.
Fuck.
I was off to a really, really hot start last year. And then I had back-to-back projects. I had the Architectural Digest placement. I was like, wow, I am cranking. I was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
And then it was a slow fall. It was just kind of pipeline. It was projects ending all at the same time. And I was like, oh no. I think finding clients has kind of been the hardest part. Clients with, once I kind of determined my worth, it's, you have to search for the clients who have the money to be able to pay you it. So it was really working on access and on networking. But of course, there were days where I was like, there are days where I would just put together schematics, fake schematics, and put them on Instagram like they were real projects. I'm practicing delusion is healthy. I just had to fake it until I made it a little bit. And I'll still do that. It's just... Again, it's a healthy delusion to be a leader, to be a business person. I think of Taylor Swift. She's not that great of a singer. But at 14, she said she was going to be she just is going to be the biggest pop star in the world. And look at her now. I don't think, and also people who are in the room that you're like, wow. I mean, they're intelligent people, but they're not the smartest person in the room. And here they are, with their career path that's just skyrocketed. Why is that? And I think it's because they just have known the goal, work really hard, and have this little healthy bit of delusion that you need to get there. That's the magic.
How do you find the goal? Because a lot of people go through life, I don't know,
Mhm.
in their mid-30s or 40s, and they have midlife crises and
Yeah.
crises, and they think, fuck, they're kids,
Yeah.
married. And some people really struggle to find the goal. It seems like you maybe got, I don't know, lucky, or maybe you just knew what you wanted to do. But if somebody listening now is really struggling, and I can hear them going, fuck, okay, I'm in this job. I don't know how to
I'm
quit.
miserable, yeah.
I'm miserable. I don't know how to quit. I've been given a pay rise. It's 5,000 US. But actually, I've got a great eye for things. I feel underappreciated, but I don't know what to do. What would you advise?
Well, yeah, I would do the exercise of saying, okay, where do I want to be? And then in 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever it is. And what I did in like hair care, and I just started kind of returning to my little roots of growing an Instagram, of writing my Substack, of just all these little exercises that were at that point on the side, but towards the goal of becoming someone that people look to for interior design, or that had a great eye, or that loved the way I, accessorized, or that I put artwork up in my own apartment. Just all these little things that bring you joy that deep down is like inching you towards the goal, and working really hard at what you're doing at the moment, and just believing that you can take the leap. The worst, I know it sounds like, oh, so whatever, but like the worst that can happen is that you'll have to go back and get another job. I mean, that's the worst.
That's the worst. That's what I keep saying.
Okay, so then you tried it, didn't work. All right, you'll just, I don't know, maybe it's 2 years I'll link up with another designer, because we'll be like just stronger together. It's really, it's a hard business. I don't know. Who knows? But the worst, I don't know.
Worst is that you just maybe give up.
It's the fear.
Fear's a killer. But Lucy, I've always want to ask this. So let's say you do a job. Maybe a bit of a fun question now. Let's say you do a job. Let's say you do a pretty shit job.
Okay. That would never happen.
Okay. Do you look at it? Does the client sometimes get involved going, I love green.
Yeah.
I want it all green, unlucky. And you're like, Dave, this is shit.
Yes.
And then he goes, I don't care, I'm paying you for just sourcing. And then is that your stamp on it? Or so when somebody comes in and he goes, oh, Lucy Baird, and he goes, this is rank.
Yeah.
Like, why is there a tiger and an elephant in the loo and they're both stuffed?
It's so true. I've gotten very lucky with my clients, and they've had a lot of trust in me. And I think you become like, you start to get hired for like your own aesthetic. I will work with clients with what they like, and honestly, if they're going to battle so hard, I'm like, fine. Fine. Not what I would do.
Sure.
Fine. I just have to, like, I just know when to drop the gloves. I will fight hard if I know it's ugly or it doesn't look good or it's not to scale. But with enough pushback, I'm like, it's not worth it. All right.
That sounds for me quite fun.
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite teamy. I feel like, I don't know why in that business, interior design, I feel it's more collaborative. I don't know. Whereas I think in maybe financial services or something, it's more like, you're the client, you're the contractor. That's it.
Yeah. It is quite collaborative. And also like with with vendors and tradespeople, and I've worked with like some really talented people. So we'll kind of like gang up on a client if they're like leaning in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Be like, that really doesn't make a lot of sense. And I go, that makes no sense. So
can you tell somebody's personality by their house immediately?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
You can walk in and go, I know exactly who this person is.
Yes, I think like your space is a reflection of how you view the world. I really do. I think I can tell a lot from a person when I walk into their apartment or their home. There's an energy. I can see what they prioritize. It really is a reflection of how they view the world.
I've got this. Maybe this is a bit too personal, but let's say you've gone on a date.
Okay.
Let's say you've gone on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to his for a drink or a nightcap, and he's got a dead tiger on the floor and red velvet walls, and you're thinking, what the fuck am I?
Yeah, I would. A sense of place is so important to me. And sometimes a lot of people, there's a sense of place isn't, and you can tell, and that's fine. But for me, my environment is it really dictates.
Does it dictate your mood entirely?
Yeah, it really does. So it would be hard for me to like share a space with someone that, has a tiger on them.
Keith, I love you, but this has got to change.
I truly, yeah.
I never thought of that. It's just in my
It's probably then not a match, though. I don't think it
No, it
happens as
won't.
much as you like think, because I feel like
I'm just dramatizing it. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm just trying. Just let me.
You,
Just
Nick.
let. Yeah. Just take it with me. Come on. We're in the UK now. We're in London.
Yeah.
Design cues. What is the big differences? I'll give you an example. All right. Ancient Greece, Ionic columns and Corinthian columns. Corinthian are really flowery. Ionic are just straight laced, right? And you can tell the difference a mile off. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. But what is some things you think if you didn't know which country you're in, and if you had to see a room, could you tell immediately what like an American style versus a UK style?
It's with the architecture and just the age of things, really, because everything in America is quite new. So when you come to like London, everything is old and beautiful, and there's classical architecture, and you just can tell it's been there for a long time. Even like the urban planning with America, there's just like there's tells and kind of nuances architecturally where it's like pretty easy for me to spot. There's like nothing, but it's like mid 1800s where. I mean, obviously in America, and that was just the beginning, where things have been around a lot longer here, which I love because I love charm and soul and previous lives of buildings and rooms and walls. I feel, that I feel like spaces have souls.
Really?
I do.
Okay, elaborate.
Because they make me feel a certain way when I walk into a space, and I just can tell when you're with like a wise old person, and I feel like when I walk into a beautiful old place that it kind of, I don't know, it has stories to tell, and it makes me feel a certain way.
What story do you think you want to tell?
Oh, wow. That's a very interesting question, actually. I want to tell a story of beauty, of art, of timelessness, and of kind of the power of space, both aesthetically and function. Like, we're humans, and I think that needs to be reiterated more. It's not just beauty, it's really the function, and I think function is beauty. But you need to hire an interior designer just to like make your space comfortable and functional, and for you to live better and more beautifully. But beauty and function is kind of the legacy I would love to leave.
There we go.
And art always.
There we go. Well, Lucy, that's all the questions I have. I have 1,000 more questions, but for everything,
I'll come back.
You come back. I just want to say thank you so much. Really, really intrigued about your journey.
Thank you. It's been so much fun.
And your first podcast as well, which we always love on the show. For regular viewers and subscribers, you'll know this is the time of the podcast where the tables are turned, ladies and gentlemen. The tables are turned. Lucy gets to ask me any questions she likes. Nothing's off the table. So fire away. Okay.
Where and when did the idea for this podcast come about? And how long did it take you from like idea to being in a studio asking people questions?
Great question. So this came about last October.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? Nobody's going to get out alive on this planet. I need to start making something. I want to be, I want to put out there a bit like you with being creative. I felt I've been suppressed a lot. And I was like, I'm like a coiled spring. I'm like, come on. And I thought, I'm okay talking to people. So then I thought, what were niches there? And there was nobody interviewing people that hadn't been on a podcast before and are just fairly normal. So as much as we like to think, a bit zany. And I thought, well, maybe founders with Nick. Maybe just like first-time founders on the show. We try and ask them non-generic, not generic questions, and just, and giving that person their first podcast and, saying, actually, you're doing well. Like, you're smashing it. Like, you're a solo female founder in New York doing interior design. You quit your normal job, safety net, out the door. Thanks for coming. I mean, that's pretty cool. And to hear your story, and people resonate with that. So I was like, I think there should be a market for that, or hopefully there's a market for that. And it seemed to be doing right so far.
Yeah, you seem to be crushing. Okay, so how, idea to your first person in the chair? How long? How many,
Oh, wow. Great question. I knew who it was.
Oh, okay.
I knew who it was because I've always wanted to interview him, a guy called Tom Cullen, Zoplo. Feel free to listen to that now. And I only did it on audio. So yeah, there's a thing called Riverside, which is something is Spotify's sister studio, and you can click record. I had a cold calling headset as my microphone.
I love that.
Mic. Exactly. It was audio. The audio was diabolical. I think there's somebody with the lawnmower behind him doing the grass. That was diabolical, and it was fantastic. If you listen to that now, the questions were diabolical. I was all over the shop. I was nervous. I was like, "Hi, Tom. Good to have you on the show." I was like, is he just won a car or something? But no, so yeah, and then about 8 weeks, it was pent up though. Maybe like yourself, I wanted to create. I was like, I'm 30. I was 30 then, I think, or 31, and I was just like, okay, this is stupid now. I'm a third of the way through my life. What have I accomplished? What have I actually accomplished? And it does resonate,
truly.
And I don't want to have,
especially when you're feeling it's like you want things to come out. You're so desperate for like...
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once you get over this bullshit thing of actually people care about, nobody cares about you, really.
Truly, they care about themselves.
There's maybe a handful of people. I just check on you. Thanks for checking on me. But like, nobody really cares that much. So and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? People don't listen. I lose, some money and...
Minimal cost, though.
Minimal cost, and that's that.
For giving it a go.
So there you go.
Okay, what's your favorite quality about yourself?
Oh! That's a great question. Question of the day. Favorite quality about myself? I feel like I'm pretty fair. I think I'm a pretty fair dude. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty fair dude. And I try and always see both sides of the coin.
And you think personally and professionally that has served you well? I
think so. I think it's gotten me. I disagree. I think professionally it served me terribly. I think personally really good. Professionally diabolical, because I would still be in a maybe a 9 to 5 if I was just like, that's what you do, Nick. Oh, don't question it. I'm like, what about the other way we can do it? So yeah, that's it. But no, I think look, thank you so much, Lucy. That's all we have time for. I hope you had a great time. Oh, Lucy,
can we do it again?
Yeah, we do it again. If you want to find out Lucy's
come to New York
stuff, where do we look, Lucy?
You can look at my Instagram, Lucy Curates, my website, studiolgb.com. And I think that's it.
There we go. Get out of here. Right. Okay. Thanks.
Back to New York. Bye.
Bye.